Some people spend their entire lives trying to control the world around them. Yet they never realize the greatest power they will ever possess is the power to control the world within them, the mind, the silent kingdom, where every victory is first imagined and every defeat is quietly accepted. Before a fortune is earned, before a legacy is built, before a dream touches reality, it is shaped in the unseen chambers of the human mind. And the truth that most people never fully grasp is this: your mind is not simply a tool you use. It is the command center of your destiny. When you learn to command your mind, you begin to command your future. But if you allow doubt, fear, and distraction to command your mind, then your future will be written by hesitation, by missed opportunities, by a quiet surrender that happens long before the world ever sees you fail. Look around at the men and women who have carved their names into history. They were not born with a different sky above them or a different earth beneath their feet. They were born with the same 24 hours in a day, the same fragile human doubts, the same uncertain beginnings. Yet something separated them from the millions who lived ordinary lives. That difference was not luck. It was not chance. It was the discipline of thought. It was the decision to command their own minds rather than be commanded by circumstance. When Thomas Edison began his relentless pursuit to bring light into the darkness of the world, he did not know it would take thousands of attempts before the right filament would glow. Most people see thousands of failures. Edison saw thousands of discoveries. That difference in perception was not accidental. It was the result of a mind that refused to surrender its authority to discouragement. The average person allows the environment to dictate their thinking. If people criticize them, they shrink. If the road becomes difficult, they retreat. If the dream demands patience, they abandon it. But the individual who commands their mind operates differently. They decide what their thoughts will be before the world attempts to decide for them. They choose belief before evidence appears. They choose courage before certainty arrives. They choose persistence long before success becomes visible. This is the beginning of mastery. The moment you understand that your thoughts are not random visitors but obedient servants waiting for direction. Every great empire that has ever existed began as a thought. Every invention that transformed civilization began as a thought. Every movement that shifted history began as a thought held firmly by someone who refused to let it die. Henry Ford once declared that whether you think you can or think you cannot, you are right. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But hidden inside those few words is one of the most powerful truths ever spoken. The mind does not argue with the commands you give it. It accepts them. If you repeatedly tell yourself that success is beyond your reach, your mind will begin building a reality where opportunity seems distant and obstacles appear enormous. But if you command your mind to search for possibility, to expect growth, to pursue solutions instead of excuses, your perception changes. Suddenly the same world that looked hostile begins to reveal doors you never noticed before. The difference is not the world. The difference is the mind observing it. And once you understand this, you begin to realize that controlling your mind is not about eliminating fear or difficulty. Even the strongest minds encounter doubt. Even the greatest leaders experience uncertainty. Abraham Lincoln faced repeated defeats, public criticism, and moments of profound despair long before he ever stepped into the presidency. Yet those moments did not define his future because he refused to let temporary circumstances dictate permanent beliefs. He commanded his mind to continue moving forward even when the evidence around him suggested retreat. That is the nature of mental command. It does not mean the storm disappears. It means the captain refuses to surrender the wheel. Your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you consistently plant within it will eventually grow. If you plant fear, hesitation, and self-doubt, those seeds will produce hesitation, mischances, and quiet regret. But if you plant vision, discipline, and belief, those seeds begin to produce resilience, creativity, and opportunity. The world outside begins to reflect the garden within. This is why clarity of vision becomes the next step in commanding your mind. A mind without vision drifts. It reacts to circumstances rather than shaping them. But a mind with a clear vision becomes focused like a beam of light cutting through darkness. When Walt Disney first spoke of building a place where imagination could become reality, many people laughed. They saw an empty swamp in Florida and dismissed the dream as impossible. But Disney did not see a swamp. He saw castles, laughter, wonder, and a world where families could step inside stories. Long before the first brick was laid, that vision existed vividly inside his mind. That is how every extraordinary achievement begins. The mind sees it before the world does. But vision alone is not enough. A dream without discipline is only a pleasant illusion. Commanding your mind requires the courage to act in alignment with your vision even when comfort calls you in the opposite direction. Discipline is the bridge between imagination and reality. It is the daily decision to move forward when motivation fades. It is waking up before the world demands it, studying when distraction whispers louder, and continuing to build when the results are still invisible. Many people wait for inspiration before they take action. But the truth is the opposite. Action generates inspiration. Momentum creates belief.